Hey guys, chapter 15. Here we go. Okay, so this is going to be a really short lecture. I'm sure that you're going to be devastated by that. But we're going to go over the evolution of microbes, or little tiny organisms. Okay? In fact, I think that's all I'm going to go over. That's all I'm going to go over. Okay, so we're going to talk about something called the four-stage hypothesis, or the origin. So basically, we've been talking about evolution, and this is kind of like, well, how did that even start? What were the first things that existed that even gave rise to everything else? And by things, I'm not talking about animals, plants. I'm talking about nucleic acids, amino acids, things that are like building blocks for proteins, things that are building blocks for chromosomes. So that's kind of what this four-stage hypothesis is going to go over. First, we have something where it's believed that there was a synthesis of organic compounds, again, such as those amino acids, nucleotides. And again, your nucleotides, the ATGC type thing from DNA, AUGC for RNA. Okay. I'm going to give you the steps. We'll talk a brief bit about it. From that, we would have had the abiotic synthesis of polymers. Then we would have the formation of things called pre-cells, which would have been organic molecules contained within a membrane. Okay? And then finally, the origin of self-replicating molecules, such as RNA, that replicated without needing. Okay, what does all that mean? Well, so again, it's believed that the first things to exist were going to be our amino acids and nucleotides. Remember that amino acids are the building blocks of proteins, and nucleotides are the building blocks of nucleic acids, DNA and RNA. How that happened, there's theories about it. It's kind of one of the more leading theories is that we had this something called primordial soup is what it's often referred to as, a primordial soup. That would have been before any true life happened on a fairly new Earth, new meaning had just recently come into being, a new planet. I'll write that term. And it would have had a mix of chemicals in it, this new Earth, both on land/water, or in the water and then in the air. It's thought that there was a heat source like a lightning strike, okay? And that lightning strike caused some of those chemicals to fuse together. And in fusing together, we got the first amino acids and nucleotides. Sorry, my thing moved. Let's try that again. Okay. As far as the probability or the likelihood of this, there have been a number of experiments done over the years where that primordial soup mix was replicated in something similar to an aquarium, just a glass container. And those chemicals that were thought to exist in the early Earth and around the early Earth were introduced into this aquarium, right? And then a spark was introduced into that system representing lightning. And when that happened, there actually were some rudimentary amino acid type substances that were left behind. So that is a famous experiment. And again, it's been replicated a number of times with the same results, showing that the right mix of chemicals with a lightning strike really could have started it all, that it really could have, or happening in a variety of locations across the planet, could have created these first amino acids and nucleotides. Okay. If you want to know more about it, I encourage you to look it up and kind of read up on that a little bit. Then, of course, they're saying that from there, basically evolution took place in the sense that, we started having those early amino acids joined together. And of course, when you join amino acids, you eventually get a protein. Join nucleotides, you get nucleic acids, okay? After that, those amino acids and nucleotides would have been contained in a membrane. And the thought behind this is that obviously the amino acids and nucleotides aren't thinking, right? They're still chemical substances, but that they were able to have a symbiotic relationship with something that had a membrane. So it protected all of their protein information and the genetic information. It kept that from being degraded in the environment. And eventually then those pre-cells turned into something that could replicate. And the nucleotides and the amino acids could replicate within that membrane. And then, from there on and there on, you end up with species diversity. Hypothesis, right? Like all things, and definitely something that continues to be studied and new hypotheses presented as far as the likelihood of this happening, the possibility of it happening. Again, experiments kind of confirm that it is possible, at least. So that's actually all I'm going to go over for this chapter, because I'm behind and I don't want you guys to be terribly behind because of that. And yeah, so that was like the shortest lecture ever, right? If you have questions, let me know.